let's go ahead and put some ventilation into our riding vest.
Damn it!
Take two. So if you ride in a vest and you're in a warmer or hot climate, you're going to want to put ventilation in it so when you're riding the air will flow around you and keep you cool. So I went out to Harbor Freight. Now normally what people will do is they will cut the seam down the side under the arm, add 2 rows of grommets, and then put paracord or leather strapping in there to open and close the ventilation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run 2 rows of grommets and see if all those holes will add ventilation around the sides. Now I went to Harbor Freight and I bought these. 104 pieces for $3.99, which I thought was a great deal until I put the first grommet in. These are aluminum and they're pieces of crap. See how easy I bent that? So I'm going to put one in anyway, and I'm going to end up pulling them all out because I'm going to put like an alloy grommet in there so it will hold better and weather longer. The good thing is it came with a few good tools. It came with a better base, a larger base to flange it on. It came with a nice hole cutter. It's sharp on that end so you can pound a hole, a nice round hole into your material, and a nice long solid stippling tool. So what you're going to do first is you're going to measure out where you're going to want the grommets and put little marks. I put a little mark there with a fabric pencil. Always use a fabric pencil because if you miss, it will wash out quite easily. Then I'm going to take my hole cutter and my hammer, and there goes the grommet before I fumble around for it later, and I'm going to line it up on that little X, and I'm going to pound a hole in it. Now they give you a base like this, but it does not help it cut very well. So basically I'm going to pound it into the log to the point where I got to really wiggle it to get it out. So I'm going to line this up over the mark I made, make sure it's good, and I hit it right into the log, pull it out, and look, the little piece was right in there, and it gives a little hole, and my microphone's flying everywhere. So now you have a hole to work with. Now what you want to do, like last time, is you take the collared one, the one with the little collar sticking up, and it's going to go on the outside. So you're going to put the outside down under the base because you want the flange part showing on the inside. You don't want that flange seam showing on the outside. And you line it up with the hole, and then you grab that cheapo flat part and you carefully lay it over the top. You grab your stippling tool. I don't even know what it's called. I call it a stippling tool. Now I really hit this hard because the last grommets I used in the first video were an alloy, and you really had to drive them home. And they had teeth around the collar, so they held. These don't even hold too well. So I'm going to just lightly tap it. And I don't know if you can see or hear, but it's raining out right now. And once that's in, you know, I've set another one earlier and realized that the audio was all messed up. So I have 2 grommets in. So when you're done, the side of the seam is going to look like this. And I think that's a lot of ventilation. That's a lot of air movement down your sides. Now if I need more ventilation, and I'm also going to toy with the back seam and maybe put 2 rows down the back. And I think that's going to look pretty hot as well. But if there's not enough ventilation here, I'm going to cut this seam with a seam cutter. And then I'm going to show you men how to use a serger and a sewing machine to make those seams neat so they won't unravel. If you're laughing right now, men, it's a machine. It has moving metal parts. It can cut you and sew you up at the same time. So grow some balls and learn how to use a machine like a man. Learn how to sew with a sewing machine. And hand sewing is great too, because there's techniques, there's knots, because not all patches are going to be iron-on, and cheap iron-ons you're going to have to sew anyway. So if you enjoyed this video and you learned something and you haven't been by my channel yet, please click like and subscribe, and until next time, keep the top side of your dealio up.